kindness Udarta, it's had a long history, and it's both wanting to capture the experience of people who've been part of a cultural exchange between India and Australia over 20 years. 20 years because that's how long the Australia-India Council has been operating. And it seemed to me if we're going to tell the story and map history, that we would do it through cultural exchange, and we'd capture all the writers, visual artists and musicians. What resonates with people are those moments where they're touched in some personal way. And so we proposed kindness, and we searched and searched for an equivalent in Hindi. We finally chose Udarta. And it's the idea of true kindness having unpredictable consequences. You just do something for another person through a sense of just human connectedness. And all sorts of extraordinary things can arise from that.
Though I was dubious in the beginning about this subject, people tend to come up with cliches about kindness. But I have discovered that the people here who are also in Delhi, they are completely unaware of it, but they are genuinely kind. And that is the best kind of kindness. It's lovely to be with people who think of others.
Kindness has many meanings, and I know the organisers of the exhibition have been dealing with trying to refine what they mean by kindness. The obvious superficial thing is the kindness of India, that people smile at you, that they're incredibly hospitable, and that is fantastic. But for me, the most important kindness that I personally encountered in India was the kindness of indifference, and it contrasts so strongly with where we're coming from in the West. We are taught really to judge everything with our minds. And it really came to a head for me when I was in Varanasi on the Ganges. So I woke up one morning and I got my togs on and I went down to the river, and this is a religious ritual in India. The people there are not just there for a bath, they're there to sort of like commune with their maker, really. And I walked down the ghats, down onto the steps, and the people saw me coming, and they turned and they saw that it was me, and I got that smile that you always get in India, that huge, beaming, warm, welcoming smile. And they parted, and I stepped down. And then within 10 seconds of me arriving, there was no more looking at me. I was no longer the centre of attention. They got on with what they were doing. I got on with what I was doing. And that's just classic, quintessential Indian indifference of the most wonderful possible kind.
One of the works that really sticks in my mind is in the work of Soda Jerk. Now, they're two sisters, they're Sydney-based. They're in the Leopold Cafe, which is right next to the Taj Hotel in Mumbai, and it was sprayed with bullets. Now, they managed to escape, and an Indian couple saw them, rescued them literally, took them away from the scene and cared for them for 2 or 3 days when it was really chaos in Mumbai. And they thought that, on reflection, this story they wanted told. So they invited the couple to identify what they would want to put in the exhibition, and their choice was a picture of their family. So there's this lovely image of the Indian couple and their 2 boys. It's very touching, and it just captured absolutely the sort of those intense person-to-person exchanges that will resonate for all time.
The cultural exchange, which had never occurred to me, because when you do things, you're not thinking of a cultural exchange, thank God. But it led to many other things. The debt to authors is incredible. I mean, where would I be, or any one of us, without Shakespeare or Tolstoy or Dostoevsky, right? So that is a cultural treasure trove, which you cannot ever put a price on it.
Definitely cultural exchanges for artists are greatly beneficial. What did I gain from my cultural exchange of India? Look, I mean, it changed me fundamentally as a writer. I remember sort of meeting a police official in a small town in northern Uttar Pradesh once, and I was asking him a lot of political questions. I was harassing him in a sense. It was very adversarial. And he said to me, listen, look, I'll answer every question you've got, but just let me give you one piece of advice. If you want to understand this country, your head will only take you so far. The real key tool that you need to understand this place and how it works and how the people think and how they feel is your heart. And it never left me what he said, and ever since I think it's always had a big influence on me that yes, it's an emotional country, and you can understand a lot of things about the way things happen if you understand that.
The longevity and depth and profundity of the relationships and understandings that follow through significant cultural exchange. If you want to understand another culture, the best thing you can do is actually engage with their arts. I mean, if you listen deeply to people's music, if you, with the deepest respect and knowledge, take it apart, reconfigure it, rework with it within your own idiom, you have such insight. And it's that kind of quality that we believed would hold our nations in deep rapport, no matter what kind of difficulties or vicissitudes the world, this horrid global environment might throw up. And it seems to me that as we shift away from allowing, as nations become more conscious of the importance of trade and tying together in terms of other driving forces, there's a tendency to let the support for culture drift away, when in fact it's been culture that sustained everything.
So what can be done culturally? If culture took over, very likely the Taliban would have no place, the Christian conservatives would have no place. I mean, I'm talking about fundamentalists in our lives, and we might actually find out that we get along magnificently.